Grabe yung backers ito. YGG, Avalanche, KuCoin, sino pa ba? Kairos Ventures, so ang dami. Pati yung kanilang partners ay NFT Trade, ay Lander, so makikita natin. Pati Gate.io pala, partners nila. So itong game ay Heroes Chain, yung kanilang website ay heroeschain.com. Sa kanilang Twitter account, meron silang fantastic news na magkakaroon ng NFT sale on April 25, then mini game launch on April 28. So that is around 2 o'clock UTC or 10 o'clock PM sa atin. At sana makaabot kayo dito sa kanilang NFT giveaway guys, no? From April 21 to April 28 naman to. Kailangan nyo lang mag-follow at mag-retweet, pati mag-join ng Telegram at Discord nila na maaari kayong manalo nitong mga lucky heroes pinamimigay nila dito sa Heroes Chain. So ano ba tong Heroes Chain? Reviewin natin yung website and the white paper and also the project as well. Pero bago yan, I'm John aka Soral. Kung gusto nyo rin ma-achieve yung freedom of time and money while doing the things you love, katulad natin about gaming, trading, or kung anumang grind natin sa buhay, huwag kalimutan mag-like, share, and subscribe. Dahil madami pa tayong tips na ganyan dito sa channel natin. Kaya, let's go! So, nagustuhan ko dito, they're listed ng Huobi, Gate.io. So, mahirap yan guys ha. Pag kayo magpapalit sa Gate.io, alam ko, kailangan medyo bigatin at meron kayo talagang funds to do that. Tapos, Huobi, kasi itong net nila or mainnet, yung blockchain na gagamitin is Heco. Okay, Heco mainnet po. Then yung game itself is a real-time fantasy action RPG na play and earn yung concept nila. So you will build, you will battle, and you will explore also. Kaya nga action RPG. Then parehas kami yung pinaniwalaan. Basta masaya yung play and earn, yung economy niyan ay tataas also. Kasi nga sa totoo lang, di ba, yung iba, they are playing to earn. Ibig sabihin, kubra lang ang gusto or kitaan. Pero kung ikaw talaga nag-e-enjoy, maganda yung gameplay, tapos kikita ka on the sideline, di ba, parang mas ma-e-enjoy ka pa. At malay mo, dahil na-enjoy ka sa game, you want to upgrade your NFTs or your character as well on that game. Kaya mas maganda yung economy pag nag-e-enjoy lahat ng tao sa game, hindi yung paklik-klik lang. So yung mga NFT nila may utility, no? Heroes, land, items, spells, etc. The more powerful daw, the rarer. Ito yung mga example po ng mga NFT nila, yan, no? And some artworks as well. Yan, 3D kasi sila eh. Ayan, no? Makikita natin yung kanilang graphics, parang Final Fantasy something, no? Mga 13 or 14 yung graphics nila. Tapos may testimonial pa at di biro-biro yung mga testimonial nila kasi Blizzard, malakihan yan na gaming company. Tapos pati Riot Games, nag-test na rin. EA Sports to the game. Unity, Bethesda, wow, grabe. Fallout kasi yung ginawa nilang alam kong laro. Netflix also, Sensible Software. So ang daming testimonial, you can visit their website para malaman nyo yung achievements nung team behind this. Ito pala yung team behind Heroes Chain. Tapos nakita ko sa white paper nila guys, ha, pakita ko lang. They want to establish that team first. Pag sinabing team first, hindi yung sila unang kikita, hindi, no? Bubuo sila ng magandang team, all-star team, para mag-develop ng game. Kasi naniniwala sila, pag magaling yung team na mag-develop ng game, syempre, mas gaganda yung game. Unlike yung nakikita natin sa mga play-to-earn projects na, yes, maaari mag-hype, pero pag dumating na sa point na madami ng mga users, ang dami nang naging problema, medyo bumabagsak yung economy. So, they want to establish that team-first policy. Syempre, chinek din natin kung listed nga sila. Yes, listed sila dito sa Gate.io, pati sa Huobi, may kita nyo yung galaw ng token nila, okay? Tapos, you can stake kahit paano dito. May mga staking features na rin sila as well. So, pinakita ko na yung white paper, pero let us summarize this by going to the light paper itself. 35 pages to, pero hindi naman ganun kahaba kasi most likely puro artworks din yung pinapakita nila dito. Tsaka yung mga alam na natin, yung gaming industry is the world's biggest, most popular form of entertainment. Alam natin yan. Either mobile gamer ka man, PC gamer, or console player. Alam mo, malaki ang gaming industry, di ba? At nakikipag-compete na rin dito yung mga NFT games as well. Kaya naniniwala sila na yung GameFi will be huge. So they want to resolve some problems for the gamers, ownership of asset, interoperability, trading, governance. For the blockchain naman, yung sinatawag natin mass adoption problem, di ba? So yung solution nila, play to earn or play and earn, binago na nila yan. So may ownership ka na via NFT, and the security will be the blockchain itself, and NFT will enable this cross-game functionality. Then may say ka, basta mag-hold ka ng token, you will have a say on the game via that governance utility. So nabanggit na nga natin kanina yung play to earn, kaya ang gusto nila play and earn, you will enjoy while playing and earning as well. Ito yung ibig sabihin nila, game first for GameFi, gamer empowerment is equal, then alam natin mangyayari, yung economy might go up also. And it will be impossible kung yung team natin ay pipitsugin daw. Kaya bumuo sila ng dream team. So makikita natin yung CEO nila, grabe yung credentials guys. Oh. So prior do sa Inventuna, yung mismong developer ng game na ito, co-founder and CEO siya ng CodA, which is one of the top 10 software companies daw sa Turkey. Tapos meron sila from CBK Soft Envision, yung kanilang vice chairman or co-founder. Ito malupit, no? Yung kanilang co-founder also, executive producer, Super Nintendo, wow, Ubisoft, Activision. Tapos yung art director nila, wow, Marvel. Seryoso ka ba dyan? I'm a fan of Marvel, pati Stranger Things. Then, madami pang iba. You can check na lang. Okay, sobrang dami nilang credentials, talagang dream team talaga. And also their backers as well, pati yung partners also. So yung game, typical lang naman, no? Action RPG, pero pwede kayong magkaroon ng guild, you can compete with each other, and explore and grow also. So may PvE and PvP, they want to go on esports also, socialize, breeding, stalking, DeFi, and governance as well. So ito yung parang build nila, no? Yan, grow your guild, a mighty band of heroes. Then you can explore outside that guild. Yan, yung pinaka-open world nila. Then, yung battle features dito sa PvE and PvP nila. So, nabanggit nga natin, may utility yung NFT sila at ito po yun, mga yan, yung mga artwork. Okay, gaganda, no? Tapos ito yung mga gusto ko eh. Easy to learn, yet challenging to master. Okay, alam niyo naman, nakikita nyo lagi naglalaro ng NFT games at natutuwa ko, madali siyang matutunan. Then, habang tumatagal humihirap, na-frustrate ako, nagko-close ako to rage quit dahil sa mga ganyan. Pero yung nga, gusto ko ng challenges, kaya mukhang lalaroin ko to. At syempre, tingnan din natin yung kanilang token. Ang dami niyang utility. So, deflationary siya, convertible, tapos pwede mag-trade to NFT. When you say deflationary is hindi unlimited supply guys. Ha? You can consume this for fuel resources, enhancement, pang-join sa tournaments and leagues, transaction fees, pang-complete on some quests, and participate in in-game events. Then you can own tokens, rewarding land and superheroes. Then for DeFi, like staking and trading as well. Then governance. At ang gusto ko dito, 40% ang nakalaan for rewards and staking. So, may kita natin medyo malaki, no? Sa teams and advisors, 20%. Kasi dream team nga daw sila. Then, others has also a vesting period, wag kayo mag-alala. Especially for the teams and advisors, nakalock po sila for 9 months. Tapos 24 months bago nila makuha yung buong 20% na yan. Tapos yung iba naman, makakabili sa public token sale or nakabili is walang cliff, but yung mga nasa private, seed and pre-seed, nabili na ng mura yung token, kaya meron silang vesting period ng 3, 4.5, and 9 months. So, pumunta tayo sa updated roadmap. So, tapos na yung quarter 1, 2022. We're now on quarter 2, 2022 na maaari nang i-release yung beta nito. Excited tayo dyan. Fair drop, bounty program, then yung wallet beta release, pati yung marketplace beta release also. Then, on quarter 3, 2022, yung full launch ng game, wallet, pati marketplace nila. And on quarter 4, 2022, yung governance module, BC gamification module, both beta releases po, then expansion pack release. Wow! Then on quarter 1, 2023, yan, full launch na ng mga module na yan, then on-chain wallet incentives, pati interoperability po ng mga NFTs. Then pakita ko lang to, yung mga contracts is audited by Certic guys. At very visible na may mga contract dito sa kanilang white paper. So, sinamarize natin yung light paper nila, but I highly encourage you to visit their white paper also para makita nyo yung very detailed sa mga gameplay. Kasi ako, personally, mas gusto ko makita muna yung trailer dahil kung babasahin natin ito, baka di nyo rin maintindihan without visualization, di ba? And also some more details about the blockchain features, technology that they will be using as well, and the socials. Pero Yung socials na yan, may link tree sila. Pero lahat yan, no, ng link ay ilalagay ko sa description below, yung kanilang Twitter account. Pero syempre, dapat nagawa nyo na yan dahil sayang naman, no, sa NFT giveaway. Then may Instagram din sila, 19k followers, yung mga artwork. And also their Discord, no, nandyan yung AMA na announcement nila, pati may mga pag-giveaways din po sila dito. Abang-abang po tayo doon. So yun lang guys, alam ko maganda yung graphics, pero as usual, kung papasok kayo dito, just risk an amount that you can afford to lose lang. And also, make sure na kaya kayo papasok is you are enjoying or might enjoy the games. Lalo na to, which is play and earn, fun first before kitaan. Once again, I'm John aka Soral. Kung nagustuhan mo itong episode na to, huwag mong kalimutan mag-like, share, subscribe. Hanggang sa muli guys! Babu!